Other top story this morning, Iranian missiles raining down on Israel this morning as President Trump hands the regime an urgent ultimatum: open the Strait of Hormuz or face total energy obliteration.
Chief Foreign Correspondent Trey Yingst on the ground in southern Israel with the very latest. Hey, Trey.
Yeah, hey guys, good morning. We just returned from the southern city of Arad. This is a community of about 25,000 people where overnight more than 100 were injured by one Iranian ballistic missile impact. Today, this was a significant development and an indication that the Iranians are still able to launch barrages that can get around Israel's air defense systems. Here's what it looked like when we arrived at the site. You can see here the impact crater of an Iranian ballistic missile that slammed into the southern city of Arad overnight, wounding more than 100 people. The buildings here reduced to rubble as this explosion rocked the city of more than 25,000 people. All of this taking place as the Israelis work to shoot down more incoming Iranian ballistic missiles.
By this point, I thought they had ran out of missiles. What happened to, their whole missile sites, all their missile manufacturing being completely destroyed? Now, where are they getting all these capabilities from to still deliver missile strikes?
Today, Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu arrived at the scene to survey the damage. He spoke exclusively with Fox News about the war and the campaign alongside President Trump.
What more proof do you need that this regime that threatens the entire world has to be stopped? Israel and the United States are working together for the entire world. And it's time to see the leaders of the rest of the countries join up. I'm happy to say that I can see some of them beginning to move in that direction, but more is needed. President Trump's call to have the international community confront this terrorist fanatic regime of zealots, that is a call not only for the security of America and the security of Israel, it's for the security of the entire world. And it's time for them to act.
The Prime Minister calling on other countries to get directly involved in this war as the Israelis are going after many of the ballistic missile storage sites inside of Iran. New strikes were conducted over the weekend, and we do understand more strikes will happen later today. All of this taking place as the Iranians launched just a couple days ago 2 ballistic missiles at the Diego Garcia Air Base in the Indian Ocean. This is more than 2,000 miles away from Iranian territory, and an indication that they have longer range missiles than previously publicly known. I asked Israel's former Prime Minister Naftali Bennett about this very issue.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, where are they getting these missiles from? How are they have longer range missiles all of a sudden, which have the capability of reaching the Indian Ocean? So Iranian fires some missiles at British U.S. military base. Like, where did they get these capabilities from all of a sudden? And with the threat that's coming up within 48 hours, which that 48 hours is up. Here we are. The deadline is being met. So are we going to be seeing some action from President Trump today?
It's important that Europe now wakes up, understands that America and Israel, with the leadership of President Trump, are preventing a nuclear Iranian nightmare on all of Europe. We're fighting this war to protect them. Now the lie has been revealed. Iran has missiles that can reach Madrid, that can reach Berlin, that can reach Paris. And now they suddenly woke up and understand that they're under an Iranian threat.
The Iranians are also still using cluster munitions against the civilian population here in Israel's second largest city of Tel Aviv. Some of those bomblets rained down once again on the population below. Police tell Fox News there were 15 different impact sites. Guys?
Trey, in your great interview there with Naftali Bennett, he talked about the missile lie. And while these intermediate range missiles now fired at Diego Garcia shocked the whole world, and obviously with European capitals put on notice, that changes the escalation threat to include those European countries. But when Bennett was talking about the lie, it really, you can't overstate how much we thought we knew about Iran's missile capabilities and what actually existed.
Absolutely. Iran.
One thing I should say, we should not take this lightly. Like, we don't want to have to send ground troops up into Iran to where we have another thing such as a Vietnam, to where we got ourselves into something to where we don't necessarily know how we gonna get ourselves out of, especially without more help from more of our individual or our allies, basically. How are we going to get ourselves out of this situation now that we have gotten ourselves into it with ground troops is not going to be the answer. So with Donald Trump trying to hit the infrastructure, the energy infrastructure of Iran, that is an issue. And I'm going to explain why, but I'm going to let him continue.
His own foreign minister just 1 month ago gave an interview and said that these missiles could not reach European cities that we now understand they can reach. And so it changes the entire dynamic. And as President Trump and Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu have tried to make clear over the past 48 hours, this is a significant escalation and an indication that it's not just Gulf countries that could soon take incoming Iranian fire. It's also European capitals, looking at cities like Berlin, Paris, Warsaw. And this is the major concern now, that the Iranians still have the ability to escalate. And we have seen, as we just returned from this site, they are willing to use these missiles.
You know, Trey, you reported last night, and I like the word you used. You said that Iran still has an ability to respond in a structured way, meaning that they had an ability to respond in kind to attacks on their facilities.
And this is without a leadership. So with, I guess, the thousands of the elite establishment that was in Iran, you know, who are they operating from? Who are they taking orders from to keep up with these attacks? America doesn't know. I believe at the moment doesn't know enough about this Iranian issue to go and send foot troops up in here to actually go and fight a ground offensive against Iran. Something else has got to happen besides us. It's one thing for Iran to go ahead and, you know what I'm saying, continue to assert itself. We know that they're going to do that, right? However, where are all these people coming from? How are they getting their orders from, and getting their orders from underneath the gaze of the United States' eyes? Because the United States is watching this significantly because they want to win this war. Who did Trump get his information from in order to go up in here and attack Iran? Because strategically, think about what would happen if they was to knock out all the energy sources of Iran, right? That would be devastating to the civilian life. Mind you that even though Iran and whoever is in power right now is still hitting its civilian population with cluster bombs, here we have another situation where we're going to devastate the civilian population as well by triggering a blackout, water shortages, and an economic collapse by hitting their energy infrastructure. That is going to be devastating to the civilian population in Iran, and it's going to be traumatic. So are we creating the reverse? Will that create the reverse of what we intended, besides taking out the leadership? But if we don't have the people of Iran behind this whole issue, man, sending ground troops in there, if they end up hitting this infrastructure, would be the wrong thing to do. Even it's the wrong thing to do at this moment, because apparently enough intelligence has not been gathered with regards to the Iranian capabilities.
Meanwhile, CENTCOM in the U.S. has talked about the degree to which the United States has degraded their ability to respond. Is CENTCOM overstating how much we have degraded their ability to respond?
The U.S. and Israeli strikes against the Iranian regime have been very successful. They've taken out dozens of top leaders in Iran, IRGC command structures, members of the besieged forces, and much of the production line for these ballistic missiles that are currently being used against Israel and regional countries. There's an important statistic that U.S. Central Command is talking about, and they are talking about the amount of ballistic missile fire being reduced by somewhere between 90 and 95% from the first days of this war. While that may be true, it does not indicate what their current stockpile looks like and their ability to target Israel and U.S. allies across the region. And that is why we still see these missiles raining down here. And officials here tell us this is going to last for a few more weeks.
Great point.
Right. Thank you, Trey.
Thanks, Trey.
Well,
This sounds like another Russian-Ukrainian issue at the moment. You know what I'm saying? How they still got the capability to do all this when dozens of their elite have been knocked out. Excuse me, I thought it was more than that. But apparently a lot more of their soldiers. I wonder how many at this moment, how many of their guard has actually surrendered to the United States? Did we have a count of how many of their militant group, their military, or do we have a number of, soldiers that they have before we can clearly identify how many people we're going to be up against if we are going to be going and sending ground troops up in there? All right, so I want to go over to a map with regards to all these energy sectors or this energy infrastructure, which is key, right? And the most powerful energy infrastructure that they have is in a place called, where is it at? It's right here. Let me see. What's that? Damavan power plant. So this provides, it's the largest power plant, and this is near Tehran. You have the gas infrastructure over here. We have, so if you want to hit and have the most devastating impact, I think 1, 2, and 3, right? These 3 power plants right here are going to be the most significant from an attack, because if you want to attack, basically from the west, right? While securing the Strait of Hormuz, you still want to be able to attack Iran from the west, and then pile them up over here into more of the east of Iran, into where you can provide your military, your navy, with the opportunity to continue bombing. But if power plants need to be taken out, if you're going to send the ground troops in there, you need to bring them in from the west. However, that just would be my strategy. I don't know about y'all. But what's concerning right now is, okay, we need to balance between what the Iranian people is doing to its people and the devastation that will be happening if Donald Trump decides to knock out their energy infrastructure, because it's going to take time for these individuals to recover from this whole issue after this bombing takes place. And if we don't consider the people, if we lose the people and allow the Iranian, whoever is in control of Iran right now, to regain a sense of the capabilities to draw the people into this war with them, because, it's all about that self-actualization. If they're going to terrorize it, if they blame the United States for all this terrorizing when they had a better life in Iran before America and Israel decided to attack, then what you will see that these individuals will start to be wanting to work with whoever's in charge of Iran right now. And see, this is where it gets crippling to actually have a win out of this war. out of this operation, I should say. Because one thing's for sure, you definitely don't want to hit the gas infrastructure. You definitely don't want to attack the oil, right? What you want to do is have the capabilities of attacking these power plants. You want to keep those capabilities of attacking these power plants. You want to leave the oil alone. And so we have a gas line over here, which is number 5. Excuse me for not being able to pronounce these names, right? I'm not going to even try, right? So number 5 and number 4, all right, this is gas infrastructure. Number 5 is a gas pipeline, and number 4 is another part of a gas infrastructure. We don't need to attack that. What we need to attack is 1, 2, and 3. And I'm supposing that this number 2 over here, I don't know where I get this map from, but it's a power plant as well. This will be the only power plant, which it should be number 6. This is the only power plant that they necessarily will have afterwards. And then they'll be left with these 2 pieces of gas infrastructure, which is on the map as number 4 and number 5. But if you hit these 3 powers, these 3 power plants right here you go, are you going to be left with half of Iran up out of power. Just the number 1 alone, right, provides over 1 million households with power. It provides over 1 million households of power. So just alone, that's 1 million people affected by the hit, a missile attack or whatever military strategy that is going to end up happening with it being, put out of our operation with regards to whatever Donald Trump is going to do to end this. And so here we are, 1 million people is going to be affected. I don't know the population of Iran, the complete population. However, just think about you trying to send ground troops over to somewhere where, and it's in the thousands, where 1 million people is being affected from a blow to this power plant. That would be devastating. I don't think that hitting these power plants is necessarily a good idea, because it will be doing the same thing that the Iranian elite is doing right now. I can't even call it a government. That the Iranian elite is doing right now to the Iranian people by terrorizing, because now you're providing the Iranians with the civilian population with even more trauma. People got elderly people out there, people got children out there, and the loss of connectivity with regards to all this will be crippling when no one has the capabilities of finding each other. And then you got to think about as well, if that ends up happening, who are any of these people are going to be able to come to the United States, which we are, as American citizens, hardline on immigration right now? Or are they going to be able to go to Israel? People are going to be leaving Iran in search of safety, security, and basically nourishment up out of this situation. And where are these people going to go when these communities are isolated in this situation and has no way to get out? All they could do from this point is either work with whoever's in charge over there in Iran to fight against America, or flee. So this is kind of like bad news. If Donald Trump decides to hit these power plants, I don't know if I would necessarily go after that move, because as I look at the devastation of the people that will happen to the people, I'm more concerned with regards to what will happen to the people than going there and getting the elite. Because basically, instead of, he's worried about the economy, he's worried about The gas prices are going up. So there is a unique balance here that has to be worked out when thinking about should you actually target this energy infrastructure in Iran. Because if you do, this whole operation may be a loss. Tiny Cross-H.U.G on a Trumped Up Live show. Man, always remember to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. It's a good day to be a soldier.